What have you learned about yourself?
Oh, that I'm a tougher son of a bitch than I ever thought I was. But it's easy to be that way, Howie. I mean, I'm not being flippant about this, and I don't have an ego about it. Now, some people might take that way because that's the way people are sometimes. But it's not that difficult when you believe in what you're doing. It's all about the game of golf and what we can do for the game of golf. We have just unlocked virgin space that's going to pay it forward for generations to come. Generations to come. PGA Tour can never do that.
Well, this is a treat for me and for all our audience. Joining us for the second time on the Howie Games, so we owe him a lot because he came on this podcast in the first 15 episodes when we were floundering away trying to figure out what we were doing. He was our first big-name guest and he supported the show from the start, which I've always appreciated. Greg Norman, coming in from Florida. It's great to see you. How are you going?
I'm very well, Howie. It's an honor to be back on your show. Congratulations on your success.
Well, we've plugged away, but you certainly gave us a lift right at the start. How are you? How are you tracking?
Changing the world one step at a time, Howie. That's all I'm doing, buddy. Just an incredible journey that I've been on to date. It's been an interesting change of direction in my life, to be honest with you. I think I'm very, very proud of the fact of the opportunity that was handed to me over August of 2021 to see where we've come in a very, very short period of time. This month is 12 months that LiV has been launched. So, I'm not focusing on LiV straight off the bat here, but to me, it's been a very interesting time because a lot of reflection goes into play for 40 years of my life playing the game of golf, being involved in the game of golf from television to golf management to event management to just all these things that just take place around. And I just find that this moment in time where I am today, the question that was asked me on numerous occasions, where do I see my legacy? And quite honestly, I don't see my legacy on being on the golf course anymore. I see my legacy of what I have done and doing today. And I'm very, very proud of the fact of what we have done and doing today. So from my perspective, this journey for the last 15, 17 months that I've been on since I've been the CEO and commissioner of LiV Golf Investments has just been one of great, joy, pleasure. It's the right thing to do, but it's also been extremely hard on me too, Howie. I'm not going to deny that. It's been hard on me on many fronts because people take a biased view. They take a very shallow view. They take a view that of not knowing the facts and understanding the facts. So from that perspective, quite honestly, I've lost a few friends. So be it. That's their choice in life. If they want to judge somebody, you don't judge me. You judge yourself by not sitting down and understanding the facts. So, in a nutshell, quite honestly, Howie, I'm really a happy guy. I'm working 90 hours a week, close to 100 hours a week at times. I've learned so much. I see the way forward. That's something new. It's history in the making. To be honest, never before has this amount of equity been invested into the game of golf. And I'm proud that our investor has seen this opportunity that the game of golf can give this investment dollar to get a return on his investment or their investment through identifying virgin space. And what is that virgin space? It's the franchise model, and building that out to a point where, into the future, just like Kerry Packer did with cricket. And right here, KP sits right here, Howie, every day. And I've spoken to James numerous times, right? James Packer. We go back and forth with Texas, and I tell him, in messages that, your dad's sitting on my shoulder because he's my North Star for what he did for Australian cricket players, Indian cricket players, English cricket players, South African cricket players, players from all over the world would not be making the money they're making today if it wasn't for Kerry. And I recognize that, and I just wanted to give that opportunity to professional golfers as independent contractors. So KP, like I said, he's sitting there, he shines down on me. KP says a few things in my right ear a couple of times, and don't be a silly bugger, or do this and don't do that. But it's just been, it's just, I could go on an hours and hours, and you've asked one question.
Well, I wish I had you for hours and hours, because I have got so many questions for you about LiV and the whys and the hows that I'd love to explore with you. But just before we get to that, I haven't had the pleasure of chatting you for some time. How many grandkids these days? How's life off the course? You're working 90 hours a week. Are you still doing the right thing by your family?
Oh, absolutely. I've got 3 great grandkids. My son's got his first child coming along in July, so that'll be 4. It's a joy to be around them. My grandson, who's 8 years old now, is just getting bigger and stronger to pick up a golf club. And when he connects, he hits at 150 yards. So it's cool to get out with him. And when he asks me, he sometimes picks up the phone, picks up my daughter's phone, his mum's phone, and says, "Hey, Papa, let's go play golf." So that's the only golf I play, Howie, to tell you the truth, when he wants to go out and play. And he's like Jello anyway. It takes him like half a second to warm up, but he just wants to get out there and play golf.
How long does it take you to warm up?
Oh, mate, I'm a little rusty old gate right now. my flexibility is not there. My strength is there, but my flexibility is not. But I kind of let that go by the wayside, because, be honest with you, I don't wake up and get out of bed in the morning with any aches and pains, no back aches, no hip aches, no pains down the back of my legs. So repositioning myself and the quality of my life physically by not hitting golf balls continuously has been honestly a godsend for me. I enjoy it. I'm very fit. I'm very strong. I'm very healthy. And to be able to do the things that I do, even in the office, I've become very sedentary. I work, like I said to you, long hours at the desk, on the phone. But at the same time, you just caught me. I mean, I just threw on a clean T-shirt so I could get on the air with you, because you just caught me coming out of a quick gym session so I could get it in for the day. So,
well, that was going to be my next question. That was going to be my next question. Health and fitness has always been high on your agenda. I still tell people the story about seeing you play at Coolum and being in the gym, and you were in there for 2 hours before you were going out to play golf. And I was like, wow, this shows the dedication of this man. You're still training pretty hard. You're still, even with all those hours, because I know how important health and fitness is to you.
Yeah, I do. I get into the office around 6:30 every morning, 6:45, something like that. And then I leave every day around 3:30-ish, 3:45, 4 o'clock. Come home, just catch up on a few things when I'm at home here for about 15, 20 minutes, take my dog for a run for about 15, 20 minutes, hit the gym. And, I'm normally wrapping it up in about 20 minutes from now, but I normally wrap it up around 6:30 and spend the evening with, just doing the evening things, catching up on family things. And quite honestly, I do shut down. I turn my phone off at a certain time during the night. I just, enough's enough, because I'm on it all day long, and I just want to just get away from it. And, I love getting up early in the morning, very early riser. I go outside, sit before the sun gets up in the dark with my dog, and have my coffee, and I read what's on my phone. I just catch up on a little bit of social media if I need to. But you've got to understand, I have 3 offices in the world. So one's in London, one's in New York, one's here in Palm Beach, where my principal office is. But our investor is in the Middle East. So, that's 9 hours ahead of us. So my day is kind of like regimented like that. So, you're constantly getting questions and calls, and just having conversations.
So for people that are listening into this, mate, and they're coming across what LiV Golf is, I thought about the best way to ask you this question. I don't really think about these things generally. It's more conversational. But we just had Cam Smith on the show, and he was fantastic, Greg. And I presume it would make you smile, because this is a young man who could not be happier in his life, and he was so happy about his work-life balance. I think he was a little bit daunted about what he needed to do with his generational wealth, but he was getting a lot of advice there. He couldn't have been happier. So say it was the like of Cam Smith or a young up-and-coming golfer. If you were sitting down to pitch them for 2 minutes why they should join LiV, like what's the pitch? What's the hook? What are you saying to these young men to get them to step into the unknown?
Well, you're just giving them another platform, another product, another place to come play golf if you so choose.
Yep.
You're coming into what I call the LiV family, right? And I don't want to get bumped offline with your question. So I would say to them, look, here's what the business plan is. This is your opportunity. Let's just say that young player could potentially be a principal player, an owner of a team, right? You'd explain to them the art of building brand value, the art of building team value, the art of looking into the future, the art of understanding a P&L, because each team is responsible to their P&L, an art of understanding the player trade, because eventually there'll be trading taking place from teams to teams, just like any other league in the world, right? But more importantly, I say to them, you're going to be able to do two things. Still play individual golf, still do what you love to do, mano a mano, get to the first tee, shoot the lowest score you can for yourself. But number two is that low score is for your team. Now, Howie, I'm going to just digress here a little bit because one of the most poignant and powerful things that's resonated with me in less than 12 months is the significant weight that these players feel about being in a team. And I'm not going to mention names of some of the major winners that we have, and a couple of them have said this to me. They get more nervous playing for the team than playing for themselves. Because let's just say you're a principal player. Let's just say it's Team Shark and Howie, you're my number one, right? And
Sounds
you're
good to
playing
me.
better golf. You're playing better golf than me at that given time, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. And I'm the principal player. I'm supposed to be carrying the load, right? And sometimes that principal player, me, I'd be going, oh my gosh, I'm going to step up for Howie and my other two players, right? Because I'm letting them down. What is going on here? So you got to make this adjustment, and vice versa. If Howie's playing like crap and I'm playing great, I'm going to go up to Howie and say, hey, Howie, don't worry about it, buddy. We're a team here. What can I do to help you? Is it mental? Is it physical? Is it something that's bugging you? Is it something at home? Is it something going on with your agent? Is it something with your girlfriend or whatever it is? So you actually surround them, right? You actually bring them in to make them more comfortable. Now, why am I going down this path? Our health and wellness program within the LiV family, not just with the players, but with the caddies, the wives, significant others, is light years ahead of anywhere the PGA Tour or any tour that ever played on, where we care. I personally care about the health and well-being of my player, of any player, because his health and wellness is going to create the support mechanism that the team wants. And a healthy team is a healthy league. So there's this massive dominoes effect that I never really could see early on, but going into the last couple of tournaments of our beta year last year, I started to see it. And again, I'm not going to name any of the names, but I know there's about 4 people that we have changed their lives. I know there are about 6 or 8 caddies that come up to me and hug me and said, you saved my life. Thank you very much. I've had hugs and kisses from women and significant others saying, I have never seen my husband or boyfriend so happy in all my life. So people out there don't see all this or hear about all this or read about all this because they want to listen to all the other crap that's going on, right? But when you look down inside the bowels of it, right, to see and feel and touch and understand that, where these guys are so wanting to deliver for their team, for their families, for their caddies, is just incredibly powerful, Howie.
What do you say to the golfers, especially when it was setting up? Like, Smithy can now play in the British Open. He can play in the Masters. That, as you say, the Masters need to be Switzerland because you need the best field to get the best tournament. What were you saying to the golfers when they were saying to you, yeah, but Greg, am I going to be able to play in the majors? And there was uncertainty around it. How do you handle questions like that? Because there's the financial security and then there's the tournaments the rock stars of golf want to play in.
Yeah, look, great question, Howie. We just go through the process of what you need to do to qualify for OWGR points, which we have done. We've dotted every I and crossed every T of every question that the technical committee has sent us for OWGR. Have they stalled and delayed? 100% they're stalling and delaying. There is no question about it. But again, they are undermining themselves, the credibility of their own institution.
But so at the moment, they can't get golf ranking points, yeah?
At the moment, we do not. So what's happened
Right.
since then, Howie? What's happened since then? There's 3 other new golf ranking algorithms that have come out. Sports Illustrated brought one out, right?
Yeah.
So now they're taking out any bias out of this deal. This is about golf. This is not about people sitting on voting boards of the OWGR just because they don't like LiV Golf and we're going to assassinate. This is the other 3 have done purely on the love of golf, getting the best players from around the world for the way they perform, no matter what tournament they play in. And hallelujah, how about that? Some freedom, the right for these players to get recognized for their performance. And today, even the new OWGR points is so biased towards the PGA Tour, it's a joke. So when you sit back and you look at it at a very broad view of things, it's like the playing field is not fair. So we're still fighting hard for OWGR. We actually just got an email this morning from my team. We still put it forward. We put it forward for Orlando. We put it forward for the Tucson. We put it forward for Mayakoba. We put it forward. So sooner or later, something's got to happen. Whether the OWGR either gives us points or doesn't give us points, or whether OWGR fails as an institution, or one of these other entities, Sports Illustrated and a couple of others, whether they get accepted by the OEMs and all the other people who say, okay, their algorithms are right on point here. Their data is 100% correct. I think we'll use those.
So when the debate has been at its fiercest, and again, you've been the villain, you've been the one in the black cloak, you've been the one that Tiger or Rory or the PGA have been attacking, what have you learnt? Even after all your experience, Greg, what have you learned about yourself, about mental health, about sticking to the course? Because there must have been times when you had doubts yourself. So after everything you've done in your life, what have you, in all the business deals you've done, what have you learned about yourself this time going around?
I've had 0 doubt, Howie. Zero. I can tell you that with my hand on my heart. 0 doubt.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. Before I took this role on with LiV, I was already asked to build a golf course in Saudi Arabia. I built a golf course in Oman. I built a golf course in Jordan. I built a golf course in the UAE. I built golf courses all through the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
And to much acclaim. So in my other business that nobody's really shedding an eye on, and same with Jack Nicklaus, he's in Saudi Arabia, and other named architects are in Saudi Arabia having the opportunity to build golf courses, the same as any other country in the world. So when they asked me to build a golf course, I went over there to see for myself, to see what was going on over there. Do you actually believe all that media, and do you believe the hype, or go over there and find out for yourself? So I did. And I went over there with one of my team members, and we walked around, and we went to restaurants, and we talked to people, and we looked at the streets, and it was nothing like what everybody makes it out to be. Now, so I decided then, well, okay, this is all about the game of golf. I want to grow the game of golf the best I can. So if I can build a golf course in a country to help promote young junior golfers, happy days, I'm in, right? I will commit my brand and my knowledge of how to build that and do that. Then I've done it 120 other times around the world. So that was the catalyst for me to understand that, okay, this is not what everybody's saying it to be. And then I met the people and spent time with the people and understood. I was with juniors and girls and boys who were just so passionate about the game of golf. And then I looked at their health and wellness, and they're got one of the highest diabetes rates in the world. I thought, oh my gosh, we can help these kids, right, to get out there and play golf, do this, do that, just open their lives up a little bit through the game of golf. So here comes golf diplomacy, right? And it's just no different what I did in Jordan. I built the first 18-hole grass golf course in Jordan. And I said to the Minister of Tourism, as we were opening the golf course, I said, how high do you want your platform? Because what you've done here is nothing short of extraordinary. In the country of Jordan, first 18-hole golf course, 100% green, right? From solar energy to recycling effluent water from the town for irrigation. The first one. And I said, you deserve to have a podium as high as you want to go up there, because I have never seen this happen before anywhere in the world. And this is the Middle East. So just with that, in the short period of time, Howie, I just wanted your listeners to realize this. About 60+% of all golf courses under construction today are from the GCC to the Pacific Rim.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that tell you where the game of golf is going?
Absolutely.
So what I did, we recognized the Asian tour was a sleeping giant. So we went in there, invested there. The very first thing we did, we injected $300 million into that sleeping giant, right? To help these nations, to help these kids, to help these golf clubs, institutions, to help these kids a pathway to go to do what? To play on the LiV Tour, maybe go play in the PGA Tour, maybe go play in the DP World Tour, whatever it is. But we did it because of the ability to do it for golf. That's why we did it, right? I can tell you, go ahead.
So you've explained why you had no doubt, but again, I come back. What have you learned about yourself?
Oh, that I'm a tougher son of a bitch than I ever thought I was.
It's a good answer, Greg. It's a good answer. It's a good answer.
Really, I mean, it is. It's people come up to me all the time and say, "Oh my God, how strong you are! Oh my God, you're amazing! Oh my God, you're this, you're that, you blah blah blah." But it's easy to be that way, Howie. I mean, I'm not being flippant about this, and don't have an ego about it. And some people might take that way because that's the way people are sometimes. But it's not that difficult when you believe in what you're doing, and just quite honestly, it's all about the game of golf and what we can do for the game of golf. That's it. Simple as that. We have just unlocked virgin space that's going to pay it forward for generations to come. Generations to come. PGA Tour can never do that. Never ever do that. DP World Tour can never ever do that. But because you have private equity willing to invest into a sport to extract their return, they're going to keep investing to build that return higher and higher and higher and higher. My gosh, it's a win-win for everybody. And on top of that, we went to the DP World Tour. We went to we wanted to sit down with the PGA Tour because we offered the DP World Tour about $1 billion. How about that? If you're the commissioner of the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and you get offered $1 billion, do you go to your membership and say, "Hey, guys, we just had this great offer. We got our future mapped out for us. We got an investor who wants to come in and want to do this and this and this." And I'm not going to get into the details of what it was. You don't think you shouldn't go to your membership and offer that to your membership? Never happened, Howie. Never happened. And we wanted to do the same thing with PGA Tour.
But for you, as the Great White Shark. Very briefly, short answers. Who gave you the Great White Shark nickname?
It was the Atlanta Constitution, 1981. I was leading the U.S. Masters after 2 rounds. and they didn't know who the hell Greg Norman was. I had long blonde hair, and I went into the press room and I said, I dive with sharks off the Queensland coast. I do this, I do that, blah, blah, blah. Next minute, Saturday morning, great white shark leads US Masters.
But this is the most important question I have for you in the entire time. So as much as I'm frightened to do this because of your piercing glare, I need you to look me down the Zoom lens, look me in the eye. Greg Norman, as a Queenslander, as a golfing legend, as the commissioner of LiV, as a husband, as a father, as a pa, and as a, more importantly, a Queenslander, Greg, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
100%.
Yes. Great answer.
100%. I order it all the time. I don't eat a pizza very often, but it's always got pineapple on it.
Greg, absolute privilege spending some time with you. Thanks for joining me on the Howie Games. Good luck with LiV. Can't wait to see you in Adelaide and everything moving forward. Thank you so much for all your generous time.
Yeah, thanks, Howie. Thanks to all your listeners, and I look forward to getting back on with you anytime you want, Howie, in the near future or in the future.